In this footage you can see how anti-tank gunners of the 45th AFU Artillery Brigade shot down a Russian T-90 Emperor and then finished it off with incendiary bombs from drones. As far as I know, this is the first documented case of such bombs. If I am wrong, you can correct me in the comments. A bit of detail about the unparalleled in the world enemy T-90 tank. If anything, that's what they called it themselves, also saw the nickname Flying Tank. They probably didn't mean that the tank's turrets would fly and break records, but it turned out the way it did. In general, this unparalleled in the world, the most modern and high-tech T-90 is not a project from scratch. It is only a deep modernization of the T-72B from 50 years ago. But the most interesting thing is not even that, but that it has a lot in common with the even older T-55 tank. For example, the T-72 tanks used 361 machine parts that were used in the T-55 tanks. Castings similar to the T-55 were 32. Parts subjected to heat treatment of the nomenclature used the greatest number, 284 units. And now the most interesting thing, do you think all of these hundreds of parts have been replaced? No. They were and are still being used in the tank's nomenclature. That is, the T-90 Emperor is not a new tank, but a modernization of the T-72B, but also a clear indicator of constructive necrophilia. On the one hand, if there are well-proven components and there is no need for changes, then in terms of technology and accordingly cost, their use is not so necrophilic. But since the Russian side emphasizes the stated uniqueness of the product, which does not correspond to reality, of course there is a question of evaluation criteria. How many parts should be fundamentally new so that the design is considered unique, and not a deep modification of the previous version? As my comrade said, someone made a lot of money on this. Long use of components in general is not a bad thing, especially if a particularly successful design is used, such as the American ultra-long-range strategic bomber missile carrier Boeing B-52 Stratofortress. The design of this aircraft turned out to be so successful that the B-52H modification is still in service up to the present time. But passing off a proven design as having no analogues in the world is already a typical Russian army cringe. Before I continue, I ask you to subscribe to my channel, it will help to promote it. In the meantime, the enemy has some disturbing sentiments. Zaporizhia Gauleiter Rogov writes panic posts about the movement behind the front line from the Ukrainian side, namely the rumble of tank engines can be heard. In the Avdiivka area the Ukrainian armed forces counterattacked and approached Novoslavka. Hovered over the right claw of the Russian group, which they are trying to envelop Avdiivka. According to preliminary information, the Ukrainian army has removed the threat of encircling Avdiivka. Heavy fighting continues in Bakhmut, but it has never been easy there. The enemy forces are making very little progress. They were able to plant a flag on another ruin, but did not take the city. Every day of holding the enemy at Bakhmut is another day of preparation for a counterattack. The guys know what they are standing to the death for. Weather, everything rests still in it. Snow, rain, snow, horrible mud. You can't counterattack in those conditions.